stay a while and listen.
And welcome everybody to the Monday edition of Agony of Positivity podcast. I am Ross.
And I am Saul.
I was going to say, I hear him typing, so I know he's not muted.
Sorry, I was looking through Wonder Woman pictures here.
Yes. Well, that's convenient because today we are going to talk about Wonder Woman 1984.
So much as if we planned that.
Huh. It'd be funny if we didn't. We were just like, let's do this instead since you're looking at pictures. So
Sure.
We are a little bit late. Christmas was Friday.
Yep. How was your Christmas?
It was pretty good. We kind of didn't do a lot at all. Because I had been kind of sick last week. My father-in-law, he has some health complications. So even though we're pretty sure, like, me and my wife weren't contagious in any way, it's been a long time since I ran a fever for multiple days. So we kind of, like, showed up, but, like, kept our masks on and dropped some stuff off and then kind of bailed pretty quick. Just because and this would be without everything going on currently. Like, this is more like he can't afford to get sick. So we're not going to contribute to that if we can help from it. And then my dad, kind of the same thing where he swung by, but we just kind of exchanged stuff through the door and then, like, talked on the phone for a while. Kind of thing. Because he also is not in a situation that he should be getting exposed to. Like, assuming I had the flu, he doesn't need to be exposed to the flu currently.
Well, no one really wants to be sick anyway.
Yeah, especially on the holidays. It's just weird because it's like, I think we would have made these choices anyway, but now it just feels like super weird because of everything going on. Where it's like, I don't want people to think we're being totally insane, but this would just be a logical decision anyway.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's like 47 kids running around at the in-laws. I'm kind of glad that we didn't stay. I don't know. I don't know how you do. Like, my energy drops low if I'm somewhere where there's a bunch of not quite the trailer park feral children packs running around, but like they're not quite fully domesticated, but they're usually well behaved and like housebroken packs of kids, but they're still just pure chaos, just everywhere.
Yeah, I was forced to go to a party. Forced. I didn't really want to go, but the wife made me. So we went to this party, and everyone there has kids.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with kids. I don't have kids, but I mean, I like little babies. If they're a part of my family, I like to play with them. If they're not part of my family, I don't really play.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be labeled as a weirdo and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just my mind thinking that way, but I try to stay.
I just don't like little kids.
Sure.
I'm not good at interacting with them.
Yeah.
They don't share their toys.
Well,
they cheat at games.
I'm at this party and everyone's talking about their kids this, kids that, blah blah blah. And I text you. I started making a little game out of it. So every time they mention their kids, I mention my dogs.
Right.
And then I think they got the hint because they stopped talking to me and they wouldn't forever. So.
How often do you find yourself at a party where all of a sudden people just don't talk to you anymore?
Well, it happens a lot because apparently I have a face. My face, I guess, whether I try
betrays you.
I guess betrays me, and they're just like, okay, this guy don't care anything about what I'm saying.
Well, it's funny because you're not like a small talk. I don't know how to say that correctly because, like, we'll have small talk all the time, like at work or something.
Yeah.
But you know me. Like, there's a history.
Sure.
If someone doesn't really know you well,
Yeah.
because, like, you'll make jokes that are, you know, like, they're within what I would expect the sense of humor, but your sense of humor is a little bit off from what is standard sometimes. So I can see where you just maybe don't even bother saying what you're thinking.
Sure.
Because you're like, I'm not even going to deal with this.
Well, because, for example, at the party I went to, I mean, I only see these people once a year. They're not a part of my lives.
Yeah.
They don't want to be a part of my lives because they don't go out of their way to, you know, to send me a message on Facebook or whatever throughout the year. Like, hey, how's it going, man? But I haven't seen you since Christmas. These people don't care. So it's the whole. I mean, and I don't care that they don't. They're not a part of my life.
Right.
So it's the whole force. Let's pretend that we're friends. For one night, you know what I'm saying? I hate that.
Right.
It just irritates me. So I feel like, okay, you don't want to know me anytime other than any other time of the year. Yeah. So I mean, why must we go through this charade? So, and I think that is shown through my face. I guess I don't know.
Right. I would believe that. Well, you're also pretty blunt about things. So.
Yes.
But I mean. So, like, I have family that I see, like, a couple times a year because I'm not good at being social. And I think, to my credit, I don't pretend that I am either. Like, I'd never be like, well, what are you talking about? I'm, like, the super friendliest, greatest, reach out to people. Like, you'll never hear me say any of those things. When people are like,
I agree with that.
You are terrible at getting back with people. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like,
sure.
I'm upfront about, like, if you know me, you know what you're getting into.
Sure.
Like, there's not a lot of secrets there, but like the people I'll talk to like a couple times a year, like they're the same way though, where it's like, oh, I'm not like avoiding you. I'm not making it a point to get in touch with you. So it's, you catch up and it's fine. But like what you're saying, I know the other people were like, they try to act like they're super friendly. Yeah. And you're like buds. And it's like, it's okay to just like super general small talk with me. Like, I'm not going to be like, can you believe that guy didn't talk to me when I only see him once a year and we don't know each other at all? Like, I'm not going to feel that way.
And then they try to force you to play with their kids. And I'm thinking, I have no problem with these little babies. I wish them nothing but happiness in this life. I'm not rooting against them or anything, but I don't want to hold them. I don't want to play with. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like some kind of weird. So I remember my sister-in-law when she had her first kid. It was like some weird game. Try to get Ross to hold the baby.
Yes.
And Ross did not want to hold the baby.
Yeah.
Like, I have a horrible fear that even though I'm pretty sure-handed, have you ever been holding a cup and just all of a sudden you drop it for some reason and you don't know what happened?
Yeah.
I fear that happening if I'm holding someone's child.
Yeah, it's just...
And you can't go, oops, clumsy me. Like if you drop a baby. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly. So it's like, and people get offended. It's like, I don't wish you any bad will. I have nothing against
I just
these
don't
babies.
want... Like, have you ever...
I don't want to play with them. I don't want to hold them. Yeah.
So, it's been many, many years. It was before I met my wife. But I made the mistake of telling someone that I did not think their baby was all that cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not friends with me anymore, apparently. Now, in my defense...
Kind of hot button subject, huh?
Well, when you try to force your child on me over and over, and then you won't shut up about how you think they're adorable, I'm going to be real honest. There's not very many babies that are actually cute. Babies at a very young age are hideous. Yeah. And then really, like, as you become a toddler, where you have, like, no matter what, your hair looks like you have a bowl haircut.
Yes.
You got, like, the weird teeth kind of coming in thing. Yeah, you're not exactly adorable at that point either. Now, people will lie to these children and tell them that they are. But secretly, those of us without children can look at it pretty objectively. Your baby's ugly.
Well, it's funny.
And that's probably going to be the title of the show, Your Baby is Ugly.
It's funny because I felt I was going to like because you and me were texting back and forth.
Yeah.
When they started talking about potty training, I really was going to go like, well, it took my dog a week to learn how to potty.
The other option to do is be like, just compare it to you. Be like, well, I did that yesterday. But I mean, you really got to channel King of Queens at that point, like because you're going down that road.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man.
He took such a little poop yesterday. Oh, I took a big poop yesterday. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was probably the size of your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I just don't get it. Probably will never have kids because I know I'm not cut out for it.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining them like, well, yeah, it took my dog way less time to figure out how to go outside. I bet if I got that dog a little potty, I could train it before your kid's able to walk.
Yes. All right, enough with little baby rants. You want to talk about Wonder Woman?
Not really.
Yeah.
So, all right, hold on. We're going to do one of these things here. We'll do this one.
Maybe I could move the Earth out of the way.
If we had a week, I couldn't list all the reasons that.
King Shark is a shark.
Not the beast!
Let's rock.
You know, if this movie would have had King Shark as a shark in it, or Nicolas Cage, or Batman and Superman arguing, probably would have been a better movie.
Yes.
So, all right. So Wonder Woman 84, obviously set in the 80s. As we pull this up right now, so it is Monday, the 28th. I am on the IMDb page for it. It is ranked 5.7 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
Do you feel that that is a fair rating, or is it low?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty fair. It's just an average movie.
Yeah,
Nothing bad.
I'd be willing. So, I really did not like this movie. But I think giving it like if it were to have like a solid 6, maybe a little bit above 6, I think that'd be okay too.
Sure.
Give me 1 second here. Trying to shut the door. I got dogs in a crate, and they're not very happy. Another thing that makes dogs better than kids, you can put dogs in a crate, and nobody really judges you quite the same as if you put your child in a crate.
True story.
So I have some questions before we even get into it. Did you see anywhere on any kind of advertisement for this movie that they were making an artistic decision to make this like it was made in the 80s, or to play off the old Wonder Woman show as far as like visual effects?
Nope.
Okay. Because every time Wonder Woman did Wonder Woman things,
Yes.
it looked awful.
Yes.
Like
I agree with that.
When she ran, now it looked a lot like the old show.
Yeah.
If they were going for that, like one of the opening scenes where she's in the mall with the guys, like it seemed very like old TV show style. So I'm immediately confused because I looked at my wife because she likes Wonder Woman. She was a fan of the first movie a lot, and she's been waiting forever for this thing. And I was like, is this supposed to be like the old show? And she was like, I don't think so. I was like, all right, well, that's real weird, but okay. So I was already just kind of confused by that. I don't know. Did you have anything from like the beginning parts of it that really stuck out to you, or?
No, I mean, nothing really. Yeah, I mean, there was nothing like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. The only thing that I thought was cool about this movie was her using the lightning bolts to fly. I thought that was pretty neat.
I thought, well, because like There's part of me. So when she's using like the lasso to propel her, and she's more gliding than she is flying,
Yeah.
I liked that. I thought that was a good touch. When she was grabbing a hold of the lightning bolts, part of me was like, well, I don't think she'd be quick enough to lasso a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that because, like, I'm okay with lasers in Star Wars, even though the lasers wouldn't be so slow that you could see them. Like, that's not how light works. But then I was like, well, the lasso is magic. And I was like, if it's magic, it pretty much can do whatever you want it to. And it's okay. So
true.
I got over that pretty quick. Now, I don't remember. I'm just trying to think of, like, the different magic stuff. So she uses something to make the jet invisible. Like, we're going to be jumping around, but obviously we're spoiling this thing.
Yes.
Just in case that wasn't understood. I did not know that she could make things turn invisible.
I think it was just a playback to the TV show back in the day.
Like, that's...
But yes, I also did the same thing too. I was like, she has that power, I guess.
Now, I did like where she was like, well, I managed to get it to work on a coffee mug once. I still haven't found it. I thought that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
Which makes me... So the beginning part with her, Barbara, which is Cheetah, basically.
Yeah.
The whole first part just seemed... I know they were setting it up, but it just... I don't know. It just felt off.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Maybe
maybe it was supposed to feel that way because you had, like... Barbara was obviously an awkward character.
Yeah.
At that point, I don't know if that was the design or not. We got freaking... I didn't even realize it because I didn't know who was in it. Mandalorian here is Maxwell Lord. Like, I didn't realize that until way late into the movie.
Yeah.
What did you think of them doing Maxwell Lord as the villain?
Well, it's the same thing as I thought Cheetah in the movie. I was like, are we really using B tier bad guys for? I don't know. I knew that was going to be the problem with this movie. I was like, you need a good bad guy to make me care about this movie because Max Lord and Cheetah is not going to do it.
Well, they added in the element of the wishing thing, which wishes always go wrong. But
sure.
I liked where he turned. I like the method that Maxwell Lord used. I don't know if this is like straight out of the comics or not. It seems like a comic kind of story, but where he...
I thought I saw it in one of the cartoons.
Could
they did
be.
this once.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked it because he turns himself into the wishing stone.
Yeah.
And then... So I assume the wishing stone itself just naturally takes something from you that's important. But by him being the stone, he gets to pick what he takes.
Yeah, they kind of didn't explain that. They kind of use like, okay, well, I guess he can choose what he takes, I guess.
Right, which is what really turns it into a power, because otherwise, what's he doing? Like, so I thought that was kind of neat, because then he could, like, the fact that it's a movie, it seems like this kind of power is better to play out long term on like a season of a show.
Yeah, agree.
Because you could get really, really intricate with it.
Yeah.
Whereas like we get how it works, but like he was just doing big grandiose stuff. It wasn't like, oh, I'm sick, I'm gonna get somebody and I'm gonna take their health. Like he kind of does that, but it's not nearly as dastardly as you could make it out to be.
Yes. So, because it's just because I'm looking at the picture right now.
Yeah.
So Steve Trevor here is just a dumb guy apparently. When they're flying around in the invisible jet.
Yeah.
Did you find it was awkward or odd that he was amazed by fireworks? Because I'm like, I'm I was looking at my
So-
wife. I was like, why is he amazed by fight? He fought in World War One.
Yeah, so let's get into Chris Pine here. So she makes her wish, but she does her wish internally. Like she doesn't actually say it out loud. Which I didn't know that's how the wishing stone worked. Like that seems weird because everybody else had to say something out loud. So that bothered me. My wife had missed the subtlety that her hair blew, and that was kind of the wish indicator being done. So she missed it. She was like, wait, what happened? I was like, well, she didn't actually say it, which is strange that it would work that way. Or if she did say it, I sure missed that part of the scene.
I didn't hear her say it either.
Okay. But yeah, so old Chris Pine comes back in a new body, basically. And there's weird, like they do a couple scenes where he's in the different body, but then he's himself. Whatever. Honestly, though, I think the movie got a lot better once his character was there because there was someone to play off of. Because basically Wonder Woman at this point felt like it was the Batman route where she was a curmudgeoned, antisocial person. So now she has someone to actually interact with that she cares about, and it was a lot better.
Yeah, so I understood Chris Pine being confused by some of the 80s stuff.
Yeah. But the fireworks got you?
The fireworks bothered me. I was like, dude, you fought in World War One, you used flares and everything and more. And I looked it up, and fireworks was used in America in 1776. So I'm like,
yeah, I was gonna say I thought we had fireworks previously.
So whoever wrote the script that does not know a lot about history, I don't know, or wanted to make Steve a moron, I guess. I don't know.
It did not bother me nearly as much as you. I thought it was strange, but it was one of those, you know what? I don't even care enough to question it at this point. I mean, that was kind of early in.
Yeah, they're just flying. What is that? Oh, it's fireworks. It's not threatening. It's like, why do you have to explain that to him? I don't know.
These will not blow you up. It's okay. I know you've been blown up in the past, but
it just bothered me.
This reminds me of something of being bothered. So my wife, the opening part where it's baby Diana, where she's hanging out with Kermit and all the other Muppet babies. That's not actually in the movie, but it would have been funny if Nanny showed up and you just saw like the stockings. But so it's this whole big long thing of her in this competition that she's too young for, and then she doesn't intend to cheat, but she basically cheated because she took her eyes off the prize is what happened. She gets knocked off the horse. So it's this like that's like it felt like it was 15 minutes just to get the truth kind of thing, like, oh, the truth is hard or something like that. My wife was not pleased at the beginning of this movie at all. She was like, this is dumb. And I was like, well, they're trying to tell you that the truth is hard. She was like, I don't think they needed a 20-minute scene to do that. And I was like, well, I would agree, but feels like that could have been condensed.
It didn't bother me that much. But I kind of agree with her. I'm just like, okay.
Because she was like, I've already seen her on the island. I want to see her now doing something cool.
Yes. I want to see Wonder Woman pick up tanks, fight Lobo, fight Darkseid. I don't want to see her and Steve cuddle in bed. I don't care.
Lobo would be a fantastic villain for her.
I don't know why. Yeah, Lobo would be a great villain.
Because like when she's actually like normal, I don't know if that's the right word, but where she like is actually in the world and has a sense of humor. Yeah, like that would be really funny with Lobo. Like first movie Wonder Woman against Lobo would be great. Majority of this movie Wonder Woman against Lobo, it probably still would have been garbage. But
yeah, sure. Now, I was reading some of the reviews, and some of the people that are hard on this movie are just male chauvinist people because There, I'm just reading like, oh, another feminist movie trying to bring the man down, and I was like, I'm not getting any of that from this movie.
What? It's Wonder Woman. Of course she's going to be more, like. Are they? Well, I just don't think she should have been so much stronger than Chris Pine's character. Really, because she should be.
Well, I'm thinking as I'm reading this stuff, I'm like, if you are bothered by a strong female, watching a movie called Wonder Woman is not the right character for you.
Yeah, like what are you expecting to happen in this? Now, and I think that we're both very similar. That now, if you just shove a character in there, and you don't give us a reason. Like, and I think there's a lot of people this way. Like, I don't care what race or gender or orientation your character is, but if the only thing about that character is that's it and there's no like actual story behind the character, then I don't care because I'm going to be like, I feel like you're just trying to make this character this and you didn't actually care about making a good character. Whereas Wonder Woman, you don't have to sell me much on Wonder Woman being like almost Superman in some respects with a magic lasso.
Yes.
Like I expect, like I can't understand. Like there are definitely movies that do stuff where it's like, I think it's fair to criticize. This I don't understand.
And I wasn't getting any of that anyway. I mean, maybe because I just accept that Wonder Woman is strong and she can bench press a mountain. It doesn't bother me when I see her do stuff. I don't know.
I honestly I didn't look for like just random people complaining, but that sounds 100% like what you're saying, like the chauvinist complaining
or a troll. I don't know which one it is, but I'm just thinking.
I'm sure there are some people trolling just because they're like, "Oh, this is funny." But there are those people who genuinely feel that way.
Well, yeah, and if you're that person, you probably shouldn't watch a character called Wonder Woman.
Well, what I wonder though is, so when someone like that, so let's say it is just like a typical male chauvinist thing, and they're just totally upset that Wonder Woman is stronger than all the men, and somehow like. Let's see. She's magic-powered Amazonian battle master, basically. Of course, she's gonna kick any normal person's butt. Like, do they get angry too when they watch Superman? Like, freaking alien saying he's better than us humans. You know that doesn't happen. I mean, I do it all the time because I don't like Superman. But I would just be curious to be like, but you're okay with Superman? Why? Do you not like him because he's an alien, or is it okay because he's a man? Like, where's the line for this stuff?
Now you put Lobo in there in this movie because Lobo is very male chauvinist.
Oh yeah,
he's an ego-driven type character. I think that would her personality and Lobo going at each other would be funny. I would think that's hysterical.
That would be awesome. Well, because he would also. Now, if we're going with like the Lobo that's not quite a good guy, but he ends up in like a good guy situation more often than not, he'd be like, every compliment he would give would be as backhanded as he could make it.
Sure.
But by the end, she would have like obviously have his respect because she could probably, I would assume like her and Superman are of the few people who could stand toe to toe with Lobo and take him down.
Sure, yeah.
I think, unless Lobo's changed, but he's always seemed like if he had the mind for it, he would be like a top tier villain.
Sure,
but he's really more interested in just having a good time.
Pretty much, yeah. So I don't know. So other than that,
that seems like a super bizarre criticism of all the criticism. Because I got a laundry list, but that would, at no point would that occur to me.
Sure.
All right. So we got Maxwell Lord is trying to be an oil tycoon, decided to drill in places that have no oil.
Yeah.
And he's just hoping for the best. Well, like, that's basically his game plan coming into it. But he's found out about this stone somehow. And that's what he plans to to do.
Yeah, they kind of just like grazed over that. They didn't really explain how he knows about the stone. He just
Yeah,
he
like
knows about
it's
the
just they put some like papers on his desk, so he definitely had an idea.
stone. Sure, because
Really strange.
the character that they introduced. I don't think he's that smart to try to figure something like that out. So I don't know.
Well, until he found the stone, like he literally set up a business where he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to drill where there's no oil, and I'm going to get oil."
Exactly. So they set the character up as kind of being a moron. So why would he search for? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
who daydreams of greatness and is just hoping that it'll happen.
But anyway.
Yeah, I was real kind of confused to some of it because it just seemed like, so you want him to like be incompetent, but he also has like honestly not a bad plan at all with taking himself, like becoming the stone himself. That's a pretty good plan. I don't think I would have thought of that.
The villains in here, I don't think it was worthy of Wonder Woman.
Or at least
More
not
like-
the second movie.
Yeah, like Blue Beetle or somebody, or that one dude you can't stand. Guy from the future. What's his name?
Booster Gold.
Yes.
Now, I
That
like
guy.
Booster Gold more than Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle, Ted Kord, is the one I hate. He's the one that sometimes I'll get out the Justice League with Doomsday, where he gets his head shut in the car door by Doomsday. And I'll cheer sometimes. I think he did that to him and Booster Gold both, actually. But either way, I usually root for Doomsday through all that since Batman's not involved.
Sure.
Oh man, let's see. So Barbara Minerva, she wishes to be like Diana, not realizing that she's Wonder Woman. So she starts getting powers.
Yeah.
Now, so initially I thought that it was transferring the powers from Diana to her.
Yeah.
And that's why she was getting weaker. But that wasn't the case.
No.
So I'm going to ask, so the other people who made the wish, like they basically start to lose things. Like
Yeah.
Maxwell Lord, I think you could argue, started to lose his kid.
Yes.
Like that's what was going to get taken from him, it seemed like. Wonder Woman was losing her powers since she brought Chris Pine back. And then Kristen Wiig's character, Barbara, whatever, Chitara, I think that's the Thundercats version.
Chitara.
I guess they were going with she was losing her warmth as a human being.
Yeah, she was losing her humanity. She didn't care anymore.
Yeah, but if you lose that, you don't know you're losing something.
Yes.
Or you don't care that you are losing it because you don't have it.
Yeah.
So is that really a trade-off?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of stupid. Yeah.
Like it seems like
I thought hers was going to be like she was turning into like a cheetah type thing.
Yeah, which they eventually have something happen, but it was just weird because it's like, well, Wonder Woman is clearly losing something that's important to her to be able to do what she wants to do. Maxwell is going to lose something eventually that's very important to him. But in both cases, they're watching something horrible happen for the cost of their wish. For her, like, oh, I get to be like strong and powerful, and I don't care.
Sure.
That's really not that bad of a trade-off, I don't think. I just thought, I don't know, it just seemed like her trade-off just wasn't the same.
Sure.
So,
We got to that point. I was just like, I'm done with this movie. Can we just end this now?
I was like, I'm going to talk bad about the movie. I have seen way worse DC movies with characters that I really like that drove me more crazy than this. I think it was just like my expectations after the first Wonder Woman were way too high.
Yeah.
And as my wife said, she was like, well, I think they pushed this thing back multiple times. It's probably because it was awful. And it's like, I guess.
Probably.
Like, because again, I think we were disappointed more than anything else. So we get the Mandalorian, he's trying to find the child over in Saudi Arabia, but he settles for some oil.
Oh.
Basically just granting wishes, causing chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
I liked this and I didn't like this. I liked in some cases where it gave you like a real quick overview of how something happened.
Yeah.
Like what chain of events happened to make some stuff happen. And other stuff's just like crazy things just magically happened. Like the wall coming up, there was no like it was magic basically. Like there was no logical reason as to how that would happen.
Yeah.
And like some other things, like it kind of gave you some reasoning, but it was still like, it's kind of magic. I wish they would have had like, say, an earthquake where the tectonic plates push something up, like things like that, where it was some degree of, this could theoretically happen, as opposed to just like, nope, magic. Look, here's some new nuclear weapons that nobody knew about. Just all over the place.
Well, it just makes what the movies before more confusing, because Batman surely would have discovered all this stuff when he was when he was researching about Diana, you know. So, like, oh yeah, the 1984s. That was a weird. All this stuff was happening, you know.
Like, yeah, when we were on the break, because it didn't like go away that people didn't know about it.
Exactly. So, I don't know. It bugged me. That bugged me too. I was like, well, you just make the other movies even more confusing. So we get to a point where Maxwell Lord meets Ronald Reagan, I guess we'll say. And I guess that's who that was, doesn't it?
I think that's who they were going for, or it was just like a generic president that you would expect to be. I don't remember if they actually said Ronald Reagan.
They did.
Okay. Now, they do a lot where he's getting people to wish for, like, just whatever to make things happen. And that's fine, because it's pretty well established, like, his power. But, now, we're skipping over all kinds of things, but a lot of it, I don't even know if it matters.
It does.
He finds out about, not quite the Star Wars program, but where you can take over the TVs. And they try to do some weird... it'll be like touching them. But you're not. So do you have to really touch the stone? Or, like, couldn't they have just had someone, or had him get somebody to wish that he could help people without having to touch them? Like, just by sight? Like, it seems like that would have been a much cleaner way to make that not just a weird point.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll agree with that.
You have 2.5 hours. I can easily come up with 30 minutes that you could cut from this movie that don't matter.
Yes.
And then I could add on 30 seconds where he has somebody do that as a wish.
Yes.
Well, I guess actually, when he goes into the base on the island, I guess he does have the one guy say, "Don't you wish this works for me?"
Yeah. That's true.
That just seems like super generic, though.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he has not had anyone wish for him to have any superpowers, clearly. Because leading up to that, he gets manhandled by Chris Pine's character.
Yes.
But, on the bright side, Barbara does wish to be an apex predator.
Yeah.
And because he's generous, and I guess you can have 2 wishes, since he's the wishing stone.
That kind of went against what they set up to begin with there, but yeah, sure, yeah.
Right, like maybe since he's the wishing stone, I have no idea how that works. I don't know how you get around it.
Yes.
But, so yeah, she wishes to be like an apex predator, so she starts transforming into Randy Orton from WWE. No, she actually starts turning into a cheetah. For whatever reason, like, I don't even understand her thought process for that. Or was she just wanting to be, like, even more powerful, and he, like, monkey pawed her and was like, "Oh, you said predator. I'm going to get you."
I guess. Uh,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure. I'm not sure which one is which from that. Um, man,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't know.
so. All right.
Cheetah as a character is terrible. I'm sorry. I've never liked the character. Uh, I just every time I see her in like a cartoon or one of the animated movies, I'm saying, okay, yeah, B rated.
Right. Yeah, it's like low tier. Well, they had the opportunity to make her like the anti Wonder Woman. Like they could have gone a different route,
Sure.
and that might have actually been interesting.
Yeah.
Where she's actually also a good guy, and they played into it somewhere. She was basically protecting Maxwell Lord because she didn't want the wish undone because she didn't want to go back. Also, because what it took from her made it to where she didn't see any problem. Like she wasn't really giving anything up. So
That's true. They could have actually made like a new character and, like you said, her become like the anti Wonder Woman. Type
yeah, like
thing.
the
So
super
that would be
like the
bizarre-
violent
bizarre
vigilante
Wonder Woman.
version.
Bizarro Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Something like there was something there that was better than what they did. Like
Yeah.
I get that they were going to make the cheetah one way or the other, but maybe they could have done something different and it would have been okay.
I'm sure. I'm not. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure people wasn't like, "Oh yes, Cheetah, yes, finally."
I don't know enough people that are fans of Wonder Woman
Yeah.
to even talk to them about that. And I was actually thinking this because I was got home from work and was getting the dogs fed before we started to record. And I was like, I don't know that there's many people like the way we'll talk about a movie sometimes. I mean, we talk about shows on a podcast, so it's kind of different. But like where we'll kind of question some stuff. There's not a lot of people I can talk to about movies. Considering I'm not like really a movie guy, but once I've watched it, it's like, well, why didn't they do this? Or why did they do this? How come this isn't like, I'll have a lot of questions about stuff. I don't know many people that I can get into the weird stuff because they don't even like, they don't think about it. And even when you bring it up, they're just like, I don't know. Well, you don't wonder? Like, dude, I watched a movie. It's over.
I have noticed that. Like when I talk to people about movies, I think I get more into the movies than they're like, oh.
Yeah, even a movie that you don't like. So I'm going to ask, and this kind of goes with it because I asked my wife and she just rolled her eyes at me basically. So her and Cheetah. Oh wait, I forgot. So the entire world is in chaos from all these wishes. We're headed to the full-on Cold War. It's been determined that you can renounce your wish. But Wonder Woman doesn't want to do that because she doesn't want to lose Chris Pine, which is fair. He's a handsome man. I wouldn't want to lose him out of my life either. But in order to save the world, she's going to have to do this. Does it seem weird that it's as simple as just, I renounce my wish?
Well, how else would you do it? You kind of root yourself into a corner. How else would you do it?
I guess, but how about you have to kill Maxwell Lord? Or you have to get him to undo it, or you got to get somebody to wish to undo it?
I thought that's where they were going to go with it. Like she was going to have to kill him to reset everything.
Right. Yeah, I thought there'd be something. I don't know. It just felt weird. So there's this magic gold suit that there's no reason that this suit is in the movie.
No, there's not, because it didn't do anything.
Well, here's the thing. And I thought about this way more than I want. So basically this armor is old armor that they gave to one of the people from the island when man came to try to take over the island. One person fought, like basically held their ground to buy them time to escape. So this armor, it wasn't magic armor, it was just strong armor. So I don't even understand how that worked to begin with. You would think it would have gotten destroyed, but somehow she came across the armor and she has it in her apartment. So when she shows up on the giant satellite dish island, she's in this armor.
Yes.
Now, they had kind of showed that she already figured out how to fly.
Yeah.
So it's not like she needed the wings on the suit. Like, that probably helped, but it wasn't really necessary. I thought... So once she renounced the wish, she basically immediately got her power back within, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, her wounds healed. So I was thinking early on in the movie, because they, like, kind of show this armor, but it's just kind of there. But there's pictures of her in it, so you know it's going to come into play. I was thinking that there was going to be a power transfer, but the armor would give her enough of a boost that it kind of put her on equal footing with Barbara.
Yeah.
And that's how she was going to combat her, and then she'd get to Maxwell Lord, and she'd have to outsmart him, kind of thing. But really, she just had this suit on for, even though she was full powered, she uses the wings, which get obliterated by Cheetah Girl.
Yeah.
I've said her name wrong over and over, but whatever. Which is why I'm wondering, I'm like, so it didn't get destroyed when she was fighting like 1,000 people? But, but one person who's half turned into a cheetah, for whatever reason, is able to just shred this thing?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. So she's in a fight. She's clearly going to be stronger than her. It's just a matter of... And I would like to think that Wonder Woman growing up as a warrior should just outclass her completely.
Just from the simple fact of training. Being a warrior. Yes.
But anyway, so just in the middle of this fight, which is way more even than it probably should have been, she just decides to use her lasso to like fly up into the air.
Yes.
Now, did that seem really weird to you? Or were you like... Because the only thing I can come up with is that for some reason she felt she had a tactical advantage having one arm holding onto the lasso and only being able to use another arm against Super Cheetah Girl. So somehow she felt there was a tactical advantage there. Fighting one-handed with not being able to plant and use her power.
So this is probably more on me than I guess what they were doing in the movie. But during this whole fight scene, I just kept thinking back to a cartoon I watched where Batman defeated Cheetah with a mop. I'm just thinking, Batman was able to disarm her with a mop once in a cartoon. And Wonder Woman's like having a hard time here. And this whole fight,
well, then she gets like absolutely electrocuted and drowned.
Yeah, sort of, but she comes back from the drowning.
Yeah. Well, either the end result is Wonder Woman is victorious, but I don't know. Just like that whole fight just seemed like, man, we need to have them fight. Can we make this cool? Not really. No. Well, let's do it anyway and do your best.
The cool part was when they fought in the White House.
Yeah.
I think because it made sense to me. When she came back, Wonder Woman should just wipe the floor with her and just moved on to Maxwell standing into a spotlight.
Yes.
Screaming.
Yes, which she was unable to get through. So Maxwell has basically reached out. He's what was the old long distance reach out and touch someone? Was that MCI?
Yes.
I think MCI was reach out and touch someone.
I don't know. Anyway.
It was either way, but he's done that with taking over TVs. Yeah. So everyone on the planet who has access to a TV is making wishes, and he's granting it, taking their health, taking their life force, whatever it needs to keep him, because him doing the wishing has been definitely draining him. Yes. But he's reached the point where he's basically in control of it because he's taken so much energy from people.
Yes.
We are to where nuclear warheads are launched from the Soviets and us.
Yes.
Like, people have cows just randomly showing up. Like the one guy's like, I wished for a farm, but not here. This is the middle of the city. So there are little things like that I found amusing. But yeah, like just everything's awful. People are wishing that other people would die.
Yeah.
The one lady wished all the Irish people would get deported or something.
I thought that was weird. I was like, what?
I don't know why they decided to go with that. Like, maybe there was something going on in Ireland.
Who knows?
I don't know. I'm sure there was. I'm part Irish. Pretty obvious with the red hair, but
it's just weird. It's just random. I'm like, what? Why would you put that in?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know if it was supposed to be a funny thing or or just to show like maybe that was the nice way of showing a form of like a kind of like a racism, but they were like, nobody cares about the Irish people. We'll use them just to drive home like the horrible wishes that people were probably making that he was granting. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. Is there is much worse things being wished.
I believe I rolled my eyes when I was like, okay,
right.
That's a wish, I guess.
Well, it's one of those. If they were trying to kind of show like the horrible things that people could wish for in that situation, just show it.
Sure.
Just show how horrible he is. Because as it is, it's almost like campy, where it's not showing like, oh, this is really bad. Like like obviously nuclear missiles flying is pretty bad, but there's a lot worse that people were wishing for, I would say.
Sure.
But yeah, so she's unable to reach him because magic.
Wind power, I guess. I didn't understand that.
It's magic. That's fine. I don't necessarily have to like it, but I can accept that magic does weird stuff.
Okay. Sure.
Like, if you accept that magic exists, you have to accept that there's a magical answer for a lot of things. I mean, he's basically turned himself into Jafar in genie mode without the cuffs.
Yes.
So.
Yes. You know what? It's. Yes. Now that you say that, it was a very Jafar moment there. Yes.
Well, and then. So she starts to monologue, and somehow her magic rope countered his magic rope, and she was able to use it to transmit through him. Which they did point out earlier that the rope can do more than make you tell the truth.
Yeah.
But they weren't like, oh, it can do a lot more.
Yeah. This rope is a plot hole.
Yeah, like this covers so many things. It will get you from one side to the other. But yeah, so basically her wonderful words of wisdom get everybody on the planet to renounce their wish.
Yes. Yeah.
No way. Have you met the average human being? They are not renouncing their wish.
Sure.
Not happening. Now, the one that mattered is Maxwell Lord realizing what's going on with his kid. He renounces his wish.
Sure.
That's really the only one that matters. Seeing all these other people, and Barbara Cheetah wasn't renouncing her wish because she didn't even understand anymore that her wish was costing her anything because she's just an emotionless apex predator now. Which I don't even know. You know what? I want to see something. Is a cheetah an apex predator? That's the ecosystems. What I'm trying to find out is someone else was asking this question too, apparently. Are cheetahs the apex predator of anywhere? Several countries. There is no place in Africa where cheetahs are the apex predator.
Yes.
So they are not considered. They are definitely a predator. Am I just making up that she said she wanted to be like a top predator?
She said something about I want to be an apex predator. That's what she said.
And a cheetah is, according to my brief Google search, they do not actually meet the criteria of a apex predator.
Ross, I am thinking you're thinking way too much about a terrible character.
Well, but she didn't even get her wish. But she's so broken from the first part of the wish that she doesn't even know that she was just jobbed out. I mean, we could have got King Shark. I'm pretty sure a shark is an apex predator. We could have got King Shark in this thing.
Sure.
Or Queen Shark, whatever you want to call her. That would have been way better. Stole the movie. She just stand there. Queen Shark is a shark. What? Don't you understand? Never mind. Then they just fight.
That's what I'm saying.
Then Wonder Woman going into the air makes sense because a shark is going to have a disadvantage in the air.
That's what I'm saying. I think they missed out here. They should have put Lobo in there. Have Lobo fight Cheetah. Have him make comments the entire time while they're fighting. And then have Wonder Woman win Maxwell Lord magic guy. And I think it would have been a better movie.
Is the new solution to all DC movies going to be, you know what would have made this way better? Some Lobo.
You know what? I think if you would have put him in Justice League, Lobo would have been a better option there. I think
that movie would have been so different.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have actually been better. Here's the thing. They're not going to give us Lobo that we want to see. They're going to do some like edgelord Lobo that's like a emo kid or something.
Yeah. Oh, they'll make him very woke individual or something like that. That's just
be like, this guy should actually be like a horrible person who just happens to be on the side of good.
Yes.
Just by chance. And he doesn't want to deal with fighting the good guys. So he's technically a good guy, but he's not.
Sure. He's a good guy because it serves his best interest. But when he doesn't need it, he's not going to be a good guy.
He needs to be like reverse Vegeta.
Yes.
Where he's a good guy that you really want him to get turned bad so somebody can kick his butt eventually.
Yes.
Like proper.
Yep.
But still be kind of funny, but yeah, I don't know. One day we'll find out because they're going to do something that's going to be like, dude, what are they doing?
If you do a terrible character, and I'm sure a lot of people get mad at me when I say this, if you do a terrible character like Deadpool, which I think I never understood why people like Deadpool, you could definitely do a Lobo movie. I don't understand why they have.
No, I like the Deadpool stuff. Like, I don't need a ton of it, but I like that it's a totally different take, and I appreciate that.
And to be fair, the movies play Deadpool exactly how he is in the comics, which is why I can't stand the movies because I'm like, well, that's Deadpool. That's who he is. So
yeah, but you at least you can at least say like, well, this isn't for me, but they nailed it.
Sure, yeah, because he's that loony of a goofy character. So.
Yeah. All right, so the end part, Maxwell Lord is reunited with his kid. I assume he has to go to prison, right?
I guess.
I mean, we don't. I'm gonna die. Like, we don't actually know what happened. Like, we don't know all the fallout from the insanity. We know that the missiles magically disintegrated.
Yes.
The giant wall that popped up went away.
That's the other weird thing. So after all that happened, he apologized to his kid and everything. It's Christmas time. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah, and I mean, it basically just kind of ends.
Yes.
You get like what's her name? Carter. Old Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There's like a credit scene where she catches something from falling on somebody. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I'm being really harsh on this movie, but it wasn't that bad. But there's so much stuff that I just don't understand. Fortunately, we just watched it on HBO Max.
Yeah, I did too.
If I went to the theater, I would probably be real unhappy about this movie.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
Wonder Woman deserves better. I just don't understand so many things. Like, so much of like the effects when she's fighting. I've seen Marvel movies. I know you can make it look better than that. It had to be like an art decision, right?
I guess.
I mean, that's the only logical answer.
Well, because that was a problem with a lot of people. A lot of people were like, man, the special effects in this thing sucked. So, yeah, like you said, I think they were going for the 1980s TV show feel. It didn't tell anybody. I think so everyone was confused.
If one of the if somewhere, and maybe they did and I just didn't see it, but that's an equal problem that they failed to do.
Yeah.
Because there's other stuff that they did pretty good, like the effects for the invisible jet, like that was pretty good.
Sure.
Like they did stuff more modern style.
Good.
The what?
Yeah. The lasso.
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff was good. It's just, some of this, I'm like, her running looks goofy.
Yeah, it's like, is that really what it would look like if someone ran that fast? Or, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a stylistic decision that they should have told us about. And it makes it not as weird to me.
I'll agree with that. Yep.
She still does a really good job as Wonder Woman, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's be done with Chris Pine.
Dude, Chris Pine's awesome. He's dreamy.
I don't care about her. I don't care. And like I told you at our work today, the only relationship I care, and I don't really care that much, is her and Batman. If it's not her and Batman, I don't care. I just don't.
Well, if she keeps the same attitude, if she doesn't, she needs to learn how to get glad in the same pants she got mad in.
Yes.
I believe is one of the old people expressions. But if she doesn't get a better attitude, as far as interacting with people, she's going to need Chris Pine to show up in the next movie to get some kind of like human emotion out of it.
No, see, I think you just pair her up with what's his face, Aquaman, or
anyone.
Flash.
Well,
I mean, just somebody that's kind of like wild and kind of or Lobo. Buddy cop. That's what I want. I want a Lobo Wonder Woman spinoff.
And then can we also get a Batman Lobo buddy cop movie? Because I think that'd be great.
Yes, old man Bat. Old man Batman, cranky.
Lobo's the Batman Beyond. He takes over for Terry McGinnis.
Yes.
What a train wreck that movie would be.
Oh, it'd be great.
I'd love to watch it.
It'd be like the Nicolas Cage Superman movie that never got made. It'd be awesome.
Polar bears. And could you imagine? Because DC has Elseworld. I don't think they did the What If. But, yeah. Lobo accidentally kills Terry McGinnis and takes over the role as Batman Beyond.
It'd be great.
I would love to see like actual DC people try to put that story together.
Yes.
And it not just be a disaster. Like,
sure.
They'd be like, dude, you can't make this work. It's going to be awful. Be like, it's going to be entertaining, but it's going to be awful. All right.
Yes.
I have really nothing else to say. I'd still say it's like 6 or 6 or so rating I'd give it. I think the 5.7's a little bit low, but maybe a lot of those people saw it at theaters.
I do recommend this though. Don't go out and get HBO Max like I did for 6 months just to watch this movie. I don't think it's worth it. I'd wait till they have more movies to watch.
Or if you're sailing the high seas and you see another ship that happens to have this movie on it, sure, you could board that vessel if you catch my drift, matey.
Yes. Yeah, it's not worth seeing it in the theaters or paying for HBO Max, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. I think if we didn't already have it for some reason, been like, man, did we get ripped off? So, all right.
Did you see that they're making Matrix 4? Before we leave here.
What?
How in the world are you going to make a Matrix 4?
Well, they like money. That's how. Like, have you seen, did you ever watch SpongeBob? And there's the one where they're talking to Mr. Krabs. And it's basically like, oh, why are you doing this or whatever? And he's like, well, I like money. That's 100% what's going on.
Sure. Oh, sure. Anyway, so you guys have a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and hopefully 2021 is a lot better than 2020.
No, I want it to be worse. I want us to look back on 2020 fondly.
Yeah.
I did see something the other day that made me laugh, where they were like, 10 years from now, you find a jacket and you reach into the pocket and you find a face mask. And you laugh and be like, oh man, that was a crazy year. And then you pick up your machete and stick to the shadows to avoid the roving bands of cannibal raiders in the year 2030.
Yes.
So,
Well,
right.
anyway, you guys have a great New Year's.
Here we go. Outro time. I gotta find the button. There it is.
Do, 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 do.